Boryspil International Airport is an international airport in Boryspil, 29 kilometers east of Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. It is the country's largest airport, serving 65% of its passenger air traffic, including all its intercontinental flights and a majority of international flights. It is one of two passenger airports that serve Kiev along with the smaller Zhulyany Airport. Boryspil International Airport is a member of Airports Council International. History. Early years. On June 22, 1959, the Council of Ministers of the Ukrainian SSR ordered the establishment of regular civil air traffic to the then military airfield near Boryspil. On July 7, 1959, the new airport received its first scheduled flight. It was Aeroflot's Tupolev Tu-104 en route from Moscow, carrying 100 passengers and about 3,500 pounds of cargo. The first routes served were Moscow-Kiev Moscow and Leningrad-Kiev Leningrad. In November 1960, the first permanent air group, consisting of Tu-104 and Antonov and 10 planes, was assigned to the airport. Until then it had been served only by aircraft based in Moscow and other cities of the Soviet Union. A new passenger terminal was opened in 1965. Later that year, an automatic landing assistance system was installed. In 1963, the Ukrainian Territorial Administration of Civil Aviation formed its Boryspil subdivision consisting of the airport and its air group. The air group grew significantly in the 1960s and 1970s. In 1974 it consisted of 4 fleets of turbojet aircraft, turbofan aircraft and 2 fleets of turboprop aircraft. Toward the final decades of the Cold War, the Soviet Air Force maintained a presence at Boryspil Airport with 1 VTAP flying Ilyushin Il-76 cargo jets. By the 1980s, Boryspil had begun receiving limited international flights. Additional passenger services and customs border control groups were established for that purpose. However, ordinary Soviet citizens were not allowed to depart abroad from Kiev, instead being restricted to flying only from Moscow airports. In the late 1980s, Mikhail Saakashvili, the former president of Georgia, served his conscript service in the Soviet Border Guards Boryspil separate group that was maintaining border control in the airport. Development since the 1990s. In 1993, the Ministry of Transportation of the newly independent Ukraine reorganized the airport into the Boryspil State International Airport and created a local subdivision of Air Ukraine to serve it. The airport was opened for any passengers and flights. The number of air and passenger traffic has been growing ever since. Early in the 2000s, Boryspil became a hub airport serving destined and transit flights of foreign airlines. Its development strategy stresses the hub role since domestic passenger demand is growing insufficiently compared to the possible transit traffic. In 2001, a new runway was completed, and the airport carried 1.5 million passengers. It is certified for Category 3 ILS approaches. In 2002, Boryspil Airport was certified under the ISO 9001 quality management system. It is one of Eastern Europe's largest airports with over 6 million passengers traveling in 2008. It consistently accounted for between 60% and 70% of Ukraine-Euro unregistered trademark S air travel demand and, despite a drop of 13% in 2009, it handled 5.8 million passengers, more than it handled in 2007. The airport survived the 2012 European cold wave without major flight delays or cancellations. According to the media and industry experts, in 2013 once underdog in city Zhulyany Airport has rapidly grown into a major, and more efficient, competitor to the still leading Boryspil Airport. Ongoing development. Boryspil International Airport handles most of Ukraine's international traffic. Terminal B, with only 11 gates, 2 of which were air bridges, was not enough to handle all international flights. This was the reason for the expansion of the terminal, which started in 2005. The first stage expansion of Terminal B was opened on January 27, 2006. In 2008, passport control within Terminal B departures was moved further east. There are plans to expand the airport further by building several new terminals. The government has been having meetings with the owners of nearby land, trying to buy more land for expansion. The construction of Terminal D was approved on July 28, 2008 and was completed in 2012 at a cost of 1.661 billion Ukrainian hryvnia. The terminal will have a capacity of 1,500 passengers per hour and cover an area of 44.9 hectares. Platform M, which is connected to Terminal B and requires redevelopment, was to be reconstructed in 2009 to 2010. The reason for the delay in its reconstruction was the fact that Terminal B needs to be fully operational first. Now that Terminal D has opened, Platform M can be reconstructed without having a major impact on traffic. A new runway will be constructed from 2012 to 2014. The construction of Terminal D was completed in 2012, with the terminal opening to passengers on May 28, 2012, increasing passenger handling facilities significantly. As of November 1, 2010, Terminal F is in operation. By 2020, if all plans proceed, the airport should have a capacity of 18 million passengers per year. Terminals and infrastructure. Terminals Boryspil International Airport has 4 operational terminals, one of which is a VIP terminal. There is additionally one planned terminal that is to have a per-hour capacity of 2,000 passengers and is expected to be completed around 2015. The largely overcrowded domestic Terminal A was closed on September 15, 2011, in favor of transferring all domestic operations to Terminal B. The new, larger, Terminal D was opened on May 28, 2012. It is expected that it will take much of the traffic that currently uses Terminal B, thus relieving overcrowding at Boryspil. Terminal B, Domestic International Charter. Terminal B, the original Soviet-constructed building, serves domestic flights. It has recently undergone an extensive, long-term reconstruction to increase throughput. The terminal hosts shops, cafes, travel agencies and banks, as well as offices of airlines and a business center. There is free Wi-Fi access in the building. The ground floor contains luggage storage, waiting area and check-in desks, whilst security and passport control, the main departure lounge and the terminal's boarding gates are on the second floor. After passport control, passengers wait in the departure lounge where there is a business lounge, a number of cafes, restaurants and duty-free shops. Terminal D, International. Terminal D, construction of which began on March 24, 2008, was opened on May 28, 2012 with an initial capacity of 3,100 passengers per hour. It received its first arrivals passengers on May 29, 2012. Terminal D is main international departures and arrivals facility. It has been designed to support an integrated system for monitoring and directing arriving and departing passengers. This has been ensured by implementing a scheme of movement based on the principle of multi-level zoning. Departing passengers use the airport's upper floors, whilst those arriving and yet to pass through immigration are processed on a lower level. The ground and first floors are used for airside service and the sorting of baggage. Airside, the first floor is used for arrival zone and baggage hall. The fourth floor is reserved for airlines' lounges. The terminal can be accessed from the airport's central access road for arrivals and in the same way but via a ramp for departures level. The Ukrainian Border Guard and State Customs Service maintain control points for arriving and departing passengers. The terminal has 11 gates equipped with jetways and additional bus gates. The terminal is for international flights only, however, potential changes have recently been announced which would see the terminal serving international and domestic services so as to fully use its transit facilities. This would see the construction of a new extension to the main gallery, equipped to handle domestic flights. Terminal F, Cargo. Terminal F was opened on September 21, 2010 by President of Ukraine Viktor Yanukovych as a home base for Ukraine International Airlines. Terminal F started handling regular flights as of October 31, 2010 with an initial capacity of 900 passengers per hour. The terminal is not equipped with jetways as it was originally meant to serve low-cost airlines. However, the higher level of service offered led to the transfer of many scheduled European and Asian carriers to the terminal. The opening of Terminal F greatly reduced the overcrowding at Terminal B, which had previously been Boryspil's only operating international terminal. Upon opening of Terminal F and expansion reconfiguration of Terminal B's airside departures to serve domestic flights, the airport was able to close the largely outdated domestic Terminal A. The terminal was opened on September 21, 2010. The opening ceremony was attended by a number of distinguished guests. The first passengers were received on October 31. The terminal used to serve UTA Ukraine, Air Baltic, Adria Airways, Armavia, Austrian Airlines, Belavia, British Airways, Caspian Airlines, Jordan Airways, Germanwings, Libyan Arab Airlines, Lufthansa, Finnair, KLM, S7 Airlines, and others. All of them were transferred to Terminal D. Ukraine International Airlines transferred all of its regular flights to Terminal D dated May 30, 2013. UIA's charter flights stayed still being operated in Terminal F. It was expected that Terminal F would be also used for low-cost carriers. In October 2013 the terminal was used for services charter flights and low-cost airlines. It serviced 3 or 4, sometimes 8, flights a day. On October 15 airport management decided that Terminal F will be used as a cargo terminal in the future. On October 27, 2013 all flights were transferred from Terminal F to Terminal D. Infrastructure Boryspil Airport is equipped with 2 runways, with the terminals occupying a center field location. The eastern number 1 runway built in 2001 serves many international flights. The number 2 runway. In the long term there are plans to build a 3rd crosswind runway. Short-stay car parking facilities are provided in the immediate vicinity of Terminals B and F, whilst long-term parking facilities are in the vicinity of the airport's access road and station square. In addition to these facilities, the airport is, in connection with the construction of Terminal D, building its first multi-story car park. This will be a combined long and short-stay car park. Since 2011, there is free inter-terminal shuttle bus service in the airport, with 4 buses serving it round the clock as of July 2013. Airlines and destinations. Passenger cargo Statistics. Passengers routes Other facilities. VIP and governmental facilities A new VIP facility is under construction at the northern end of the east runway. This facility is expected to serve deputies of the Verkhovna Rada, the Ukrainian president, high-ranking members of the Ukrainian government and other foreign officials and delegates. The terminal will serve Ukrainian officials at a rate of 180 Ukrainian hryvnia per person, whilst others wishing to use its facilities will be expected to pay a minimum of 1,100 Ukrainian hryvnia. Plans for the new VIP terminal show that it will cost around 350 million Ukrainian hryvnia and will have the capacity to serve around 150 passengers an hour. Unlike Boryspil's other terminals, the new government VIP facility will not be accessible from the airport center field access road. Instead it will have controlled access from the town of Boryspil, which will thus allow access to the Boryspil-Kiev highway. Terminal D is equipped to cater for other non-government VIP passengers, for whom it provides a separate check-in area, departure lounge, and boarding area. Boryspil also caters for foreign officials who visit Ukraine and has, in recent years, been used by figures such as U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, Russian Presidents Vladimir Putin and Dmitry Medvedev, Polish Presidents Lech Kaczyński and Bronisław Komorowski, and a large number of other officials on their visits to the Ukrainian capital. The Ukrainian government's air fleet is based at Boryspil. This fleet comprises 1 Airbus A319 for the use of the President of Ukraine, 2 long-haul Ilyushin Il-62 aircraft and a number of smaller aircraft and helicopters for general government use. Currently these aircraft are based near the covered hangars to the north of Terminal F. However, with the completion of Boryspil 2, it is expected that the government's dedicated aircraft will move to that facility's apron, thus allowing officials to board-disembark their aircraft with minimum adverse effects on other civil operations. Catering and cargo facilities at Boryspil Airport, for almost 20 years, operates company Aero Catering Services Ukraine, and its airline catering facility is a part of the strongest regional and global catering services network, LSG Sky Chefs, offering highest quality services. On May 16, 2012, a greatly expanded, modern catering facility was opened at the airport. The complex, which is managed by Kiev Catering, cost around $25 million to build and is capable of producing up to 25,000 flight packaged meals a day. The new catering center was built entirely with private funds supplied by investors, thus making it one of the first investments at Boryspil not part-funded by the state. Cargo facilities are available at Boryspil Airport, and located close by is a large logistics center operated by DHL and housing other logistics providers. The Ukrainian Post is a major company operating at Boryspil, whilst the airport can provide cold storage and standard cargo transport solutions. Military facilities. The airport also houses the 15th Transport Aviation Brigade. Public transport connections. Road transport. Boryspil Airport is connected to Kiev and its wider metropolitan area through the road network. Its entrance is at the dedicated branch of the MO3 National Road. Several bus and minibus lines serve the airport, connecting it to the closest stations of the Syretsko-Peshcheska line and the Central Railway Station. Skybus, a regular shuttle from the South Railway Station through the subway station, to Boryspil Airport. Many intercity bus routes to or from Kiev make dedicated stopovers to cater for airline passengers from other cities. For example, a Kiev-Donetsk bus would travel from Kiev Central Bus Station through the airport, while Kiev Lviv bus would start in the airport and then proceed to Lviv through the Central Bus Station in Kiev. Overall, at least 35 intercity bus routes transit Boryspil Airport. All long-distance and Kiev-bound buses arrive at the airport's bus station near the B terminal. Boryspil has a number of long-stay guarded car parks as well as designated drop-off points and taxi stands. Taxis can be booked for a set price at counters inside the terminal buildings. Future railway connection. In August 2010, the Ukrainian government announced plans to build a rail link from the airport to Kiev Central Station, aiming to complete this project by spring 2012. In time for the Euro 2012 football tournament to be held in Poland and Ukraine. The government expected to use new trains of a higher speed than those typical for Ukrainian railways. In September 2010, an agreement was reached with the Chinese government and a Chinese construction firm to fund and begin work on this project. The line's route would comprise an 8 km electrified spur from an existing rail line, terminating in the airport central terminal area. The line would be served by a dedicated passenger terminal at Kiev Central Station and include an intermediate stop, the Darnitsia railway station, before finally reaching the airport, where it will terminate in a station close to Terminal D. However, shortly after work begun on the line in December 2011, the construction was officially deferred by the government. Lack of funding was cited as the reason for making this decision, yet officials insisted the construction will resume at some point in the near future, once financial backing is confirmed and funding is in place. In August 2012, construction officially resumed after detailed plans were submitted to and accepted by China's Import-Export Bank, which then released funds for the project. Accidents and incidents. On September 16, 1971, at A134 of Malevon approach to Kiev, suffered a generator failure that forced the crew to switch to batteries for power supply. Foggy weather then forced the crew to abort 2 approaches. Upon landing, the 2 Polov crashed and broke up. There were 41 passenger fatalities and 8 amongst the crew, with no survivors. In 1976, at A154 of Aeroflot sustained structural damage on a heavy landing. The aircraft was withdrawn and is now preserved at the Ukraine State Aviation Museum. There were no fatalities. In 1976 a Tu-104 of Aeroflot overshot the runway after its engines had been turned off in flight. There were no fatalities although the aircraft was damaged beyond repair and written off. On September 5, 1992, a Tu-154 of Air Ukraine, after takeoff from Kiev, the undercarriage failed to retract properly. The crew decided to return. However, on approach the left-hand main gear failed to extend. An emergency landing was carried out. There were no fatalities amongst the 147 passengers or crew. The aircraft was written off. On September 5, 2004, an An-12 of the Antonov Design Bureau ran off the runway, causing the undercarriage to collapse. The aircraft was then written off as damaged beyond repair. There were no fatalities. Airport in pop culture. The airport is mentioned in at least one song Provence by Ukrainian female singer Yolka. See also, List of airports in Ukraine, List of the busiest airports in the former USSR, List of the busiest airports in Europe. References. External links, media related to Boryspil International Airport at Wikimedia Commons, Boryspil International Airport, official website, current weather for UKBB at NOAA NWS, accident history for KBP at Aviation Safety Network.